Tonight on Newswatch, Athens City officials talk about a potential change to residents' trash services.
Plus, 3 people are injured and 5 are arrested after a shooting in Philadelphia.
And women are facing barriers in access to mammograms. Newswatch starts right now.
Good evening, I'm Donovan Varney.
And I'm Haley Sueno. Welcome to Newswatch. Athens City Council is set to discuss possible changes to the city's trash services.
And that decision could have an impact on a number of local jobs.
Newswatch reporter Jack Green is live at City Hall with more. Jack?
Haley and Donovan, the council is asking the city administration to provide an update on joining a council of governments. It comes as the city comes under fire as some residents say it's taking too much time for the city to join the council of governments and save AHRC. The facing financial trouble after the city chose Rumpke Waste and Recycling as its new provider in November. Discussions surrounding the COG have been happening since then. Adding to the urgency, a new financial report shows the nonprofit expects to run out of money in July, costing almost 50 people their jobs. Service Safety Director Andy Stone says conversations have been productive, but the city is not ready to join just yet. He says there needs to be changes to how rates are voted on and who has a say in those changes.
We've proposed that the entities that pay the most into the COG, whether for dues or for services, should carry the most weight. There's some other members that don't think that should occur. If you're paying 40% of the revenue that goes into the COG in a given year, your vote should be 40% of the decision making.
The next meeting between potential members of the COG is set for next Tuesday. Reporting for Newswatch, I'm Jack Green, live outside of City Hall.
Thanks so much, Jack. And for a full recap of what is happening with the COG and a number of other stories focusing on environmental sustainability in the region, tune into Newswatch tomorrow night for our live special report. The special report begins at 6:30 and will be on our YouTube page after it ends. Well, a bus crash in West Virginia leaves several students injured. The crash happened this morning around 7:30 in Putnam County, West Virginia. Putnam County Sheriff Bobby Eggleton says that the driver may have experienced a medical emergency resulting in the crash. The bus driver is in serious condition and 7 students have been injured in the crash. 1 student will even undergo surgery due to internal injuries, and there is no word on the condition of the other students.
A Southern Ohio Correctional Facility staff member has died after an accident at a training academy. Lieutenant Rodney Osborne was fatally shot on Tuesday during a training exercise at the training academy in Orient. Lieutenant Osborne had worked for 13 years at the Southern Ohio Correctional Facility in Scioto County and had been named Employee of the Year, just last week. Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Correction Director Annette Chambers-Smith says the incident appears to have been a tragic accident and that the State Highway Patrol is investigating. There's no word on funeral arrangements at this time.
Looking at our first look of weather, you can see currently out there 64 degrees, overcast skies. That humidity has just been kicking throughout the day. You could kind of tell by my hair. It has been a moist one out there, and it has been pretty much steady with a little bit of chance of rain here and there. But looking at tomorrow and the day after that, we're going to be under that rain. Currently, any kind of watches or warnings, we're having a little bit of a wind advisory off to the south, not going to be really affecting us. You can see some of those flood watch and flood warnings just a little bit north, but we're going to be getting into those looking at tomorrow for our area. Looking at that local radar, like I said, just little blips of rain here and there. And then looking at tomorrow, this intensity that's going to be coming in, I'll be getting into that in my full forecast. Let's take it back to Donovan.
Thanks, Isabel. The City of Athens will temporarily close a popular bikeway. Beginning April 18th, the Hocking-Adena Bikeway, located on Stimson Avenue, will be closed until early July. The city is adding a new emergency boat ramp and paddler access point, which will connect to the Hocking River. Alongside the access point, Athens is also preparing to construct a brand new adjacent outdoor fitness facility.
The Ohio University Board of Trustees approved an $850,000 budget for renovations to the Athena Cinema in Athens, Ohio. The upcoming renovations will focus on structural stability because of issues noticed during routine maintenance. Ohio University is planning on using $500,000 from a Century bond alongside Central University funds to fund the project.
Earlier today, Governor Mike DeWine delivered his State of the State address. In his address, DeWine focuses on students in schools, unveiling a new Child Care Choice voucher program, which will open financial support for struggling families. DeWine also highlighted an amendment from Republican Senator Andy Brenner, which would introduce a policy to minimize phone use in classrooms.
A number of Ohio schools have made the decision to eliminate smartphone use during the school day. And I believe clearly that is the right decision.
DeWine also focused on tobacco and marijuana, continuing his push for the ban of Delta-8 products.
Well, the state of Ohio is sending a transgender bathroom bill to the House Senate floor. The Ohio Higher Education Committee passed House Bill 183 with a 10-5 vote on Wednesday. The bill would ban transgender students from using a restroom not assigned to them at birth. The bill would also prohibit students from sharing overnight accommodations with students of the other sex. The proposal is the first attempt in Ohio to address issues regarding trans students and bathroom use. Coming up, 3 people are left injured after a shooting in Philadelphia.
And with the tax deadline next week, it's time to file.
Looking to the south, we're getting in some pretty severe weather down there, and how that's going to be coming to our area. Looking at tomorrow, next on Newswatch.
Wherever there's prey, there's a raptor to hunt it. Feathered top guns with fists full of daggers. Raptors rule the skies. But what exactly counts as a bird of prey? It turns out they're even more special than we realize.
Tonight at 8 on WOUB.
Times are changing.
Every nut and bolt, you know its breaking point, but the humans have not been quantified.
I'm here to serve, I'm here to learn, I'm here to grow, and so whatever happens, just remember that.
I was diagnosed with Parkinson's at 39.
You never know what's gonna happen if you don't give up.
Holding it together is more exhausting than the disease itself.
You might live.
You have to hunt. If you don't do subsistence activities, you die.
It connects us to our past.
For more than 70 years, WOUB Public Media has been the place where people in our region turn to learn how stories of the past ignite the imagination of the future. It's where information, entertainment, and education work together to inform, enlighten, and inspire generations. It's the place where the community gathers to hear and see our world in new and innovative ways. WOUB, the public media you trust that's worthy of your support.
3 people were shot at a Philadelphia gathering to celebrate the end of Ramadan on Wednesday.
One of those injured is under arrest, a 15-year-old suspect who police say was holding a gun at the time. The teenager was shot in the shoulder and leg by a Philadelphia police officer at the scene. A 22-year-old and a juvenile were also wounded in the incident. About 30 gunshots were fired, according to police. 5 people were arrested and 4 guns were confiscated by police. At this point, investigators believe the shooting was unrelated to the Eid al-Fitr Islamic celebration.
Last month, consumer inflation continued to rise. According to data released by the Bureau of Labor Statistics, prices jumped 3.5% last month, marking the highest annual gain in the past 6 months. Prices rose in almost every major category. Gas and housing costs accounted for more than half of the monthly increase. The Federal Reserve wanted to see meaningful progress on inflation before it starts cutting its rates. But now experts say rate cuts likely won't happen until the summer. Tax day is a week away, and if you haven't filed your 2023 taxes yet, time is running out. Jen Sullivan breaks down what those last-minute filers need to do to file on time and avoid any penalties.
Time is running out to file your 2023 taxes. The deadline is Monday, April 15th. Everyone's taxes look different, but the most common documents you'll likely need to file are a W-2. That's your official wage and tax statement, which you should have received from your employer. A 1099, which are given by independent contractors to people like business owners, or if you've earned any interest from stocks or investments and/or received any dividends. And a 1098 form, if you have a mortgage or student loan interest. The IRS offers tools to help you navigate through the filing process, and tax software like TurboTax and H&R Block can help you as well.
It's going to guide you through and make those calculations.
While it seems like a lengthy process, it can help deliver you a nice return this year. According to the IRS, the average direct deposit return is $3,209.
The fastest way to get your refund is to electronically file and to receive that refund through a direct deposit.
Experts also say the worst thing you could do is not file at all.
One of those mistakes that we see people make is they just get scared, and so then they put it aside and they say, no, I don't want to deal with it at all, which is about the worst thing you could do.
And if you really need more time, anyone can file for an extension, but you must do that by April 15th. That will give you until October 15th to file. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
To request a tax extension, you'll need to file a 4846 form, which you can find on the IRS website, irs.gov.
Well, much of the southern U.S. from Texas to the East Coast is grappling with powerful, dangerous storms that have now turned deadly. Mississippi's Emergency Management Agency is confirming at least one storm-related death in their state Wednesday afternoon. Across the southeast, we're also seeing flooded roads and rivers, flattened homes and businesses, in some counties even deploying water rescuers. With the threat of tornadoes expected to continue for some into the overnight hours, Laura Aguirre brings us more on Wednesday's wild weather and where it's heading next.
It's not a good day to be out on the road.
Floodwaters high enough to creep into fire trucks and submerge smaller vehicles. Savage overnight storms swept over parts of Texas, a number of towns suffering damage to homes, businesses, trees, and power lines. More than 400 people have been assisting with water rescues in and around Kirbyville, say local fire officials. Even some rescuers needed rescue.
Sad to say, but we're stuck in the ditch.
Torrential rain and high winds roared east along the Gulf Coast Wednesday, triggering dangerous flash floods and spawning multiple tornadoes. Parts of Texas and Louisiana are already under more than a foot of rain, with more expected at a rate of up to 3 inches an hour through the day. Multiple injuries, none major, were reported Wednesday afternoon after a suspected tornado touched down in Slidell, Louisiana, according to parish leaders there.
The rain was all over the place. My car was shaking. Other vehicles wrecked. Power lines down. Worst case scenario that you could imagine.
The National Weather Service says wind gusts up to 80 miles an hour are possible in several areas. In Mississippi, officials are warning residents in cities like Jackson to brace for potentially intense tornadoes there as the storms move through. Forecasters predict these dangerous conditions will move across Florida's panhandle and north along the East Coast and into the D.C. and Baltimore area Thursday.
This might be the worst storm I've ever lived through.
I'm Laura Aguirre reporting.
Now, Isabel, we've been seeing power outages and school closings. Is that weather headed up to us here in Athens?
Unfortunately, it is looking like we're going to be getting some pretty intense weather as we're looking into these next couple days. As you can see in my full forecast, we're going to be looking currently at temperatures at 64 degrees, overcast skies. We're just at that beginning of some of these intense weather that we're going to be experiencing these next couple days. Looking at that humidity like I was talking about, you could see that this is sort of the path that it's going to be following for this storm that we're going to be having. It's pretty intense down in the south, and then it's going to be making its way north. Looking at tonight, that is whenever we're going to be starting to get into those showers. 90% chance of showers. That'll be happening pretty much any second now. After about 8 o'clock, we're going to be in that 90% chance. Looking at that national satellite, you're going to be seeing that intensity that is looming, these multiple low pressure systems coming up, and it's going to be following this line of a cold front. It's going to be giving us some pretty warm temperatures at first, cool down for a couple days, give us some intense wind, and then give us some warming once again. Looking at tomorrow, 100% chance of showers, 100% chance of needing that umbrella, 100% chance of needing that rain jacket for tomorrow. That high, 78 on that warmer side, that kind of warm before it gets cold, and that temperature low of 45. Looking at today, this is where the intensity is. As we get into those oranges and yellows, that is that enhanced storm risk. And then looking at Athens for tomorrow, you're going to be seeing on our forecast how this is where that marginal and slight intense rain and flooding and chances of tornadoes are going to be happening. Most of southeast Ohio, definitely stay weather aware for these next couple days. We're looking at that low pressure system just building, giving some more intense rain more south, and as it comes to 36 hours ahead, that's whenever we're in that intense rain, those reds, those oranges, that's whenever it's going to be getting intense. Friday, we're going to be seeing that kind of move out of the way by Friday, going to be lightening up by Friday night into Saturday morning. Then once we're looking at the weekend again, we're going to be in that rain once again. Looking at that 7-day outlook, the next couple days, 100% chances of showers. And Thursday into Friday, that's whenever it's going to be its most intense. So stay weather aware. Definitely watch those warnings from all sources of weather news. Looking at Saturday, that's our only chance of sun for this weekend. Sunday, that's whenever we're going to get our chance of thunderstorms. And looking into the beginning of next week, very light chances of showers, definitely not as intense as these next couple days, but we're going to be still having those chances of showers just looming. Those April showers are in full force looking at the rest of this week. Let's take it back to Haley.
Thanks, Isabel. Well, a historic decision has left Democratic officials in the state of Arizona outraged. Arizona's Supreme Court ruled Tuesday to uphold a 123-year-old law that bans nearly all abortions. In a 4-2 decision, the law that the Supreme Court upheld bans abortion in all cases except when it is, quote, necessary to save a pregnant woman's life. The law also carries a prison sentence of 2 to 5 years for abortion providers. Despite the ruling, surveys continue to show that most American adults are in favor of abortion access.
As long as I am Attorney General of the state of Arizona, no woman or doctor will be prosecuted under this draconian law.
As advocates warn that patients seeking an abortion will face a dire situation, Arizona's Supreme Court has delayed enforcement of the law for 2 weeks to allow the plaintiffs to pursue challenges in lower courts. GOP Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene of Georgia issued a searing indictment of House Speaker Mike Johnson's leadership in a new letter sent to her Republican colleagues. It's a significant escalation as she tries to build support for potentially ousting Johnson, who has only been serving in the role since October. Now, the two met behind closed doors today, but it's not clear if anything was resolved. Our Washington correspondent Julia Benbrook has the latest from Washington.
Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene sent a searing letter to her Republican colleagues on Tuesday, outlining her case against House Speaker Mike Johnson. She accuses Johnson of failing to deliver on promises he ran on and breaking legislative procedural rules. She also claimed she would, quote, not tolerate Johnson's push to provide more aid to Ukraine, something he had voted against before he became Speaker.
If Mike Johnson wants to lead that after he voted no against funding $300 million to Ukraine just back in September, he's going to make my case for me, and he makes it even easier for what I'm trying to do.
Her threat to bring the motion to vacate to the floor looms, but Greene refuses to outline her plan.
I'm not laying out my red lines, my triggers, a date, and a giant headline.
While a few House Republicans have voiced frustrations with Johnson, several are jumping to his defense, speaking to the complicated nature of leading with a razor-thin majority.
I think Speaker Johnson is working his guts out, doing the best he can with a lot of feral cats.
For his part, Johnson has tried to downplay the threat and is attempting to ease tensions.
Marjorie and I don't disagree, I don't think, on any matter of philosophy. We're both conservatives, but we do disagree sometimes on strategy and with regard to what we put on the floor and when.
Reporting in Washington, I'm Julia Benbrook.
Next, a look at some of the barriers women are facing when it comes to mammogram access. And for the latest from Newswatch, follow us on Instagram, X, formerly Twitter, and YouTube.
Step by step sees it is.
Subtle rises in sea level.
The demise of coral reefs.
Devastating changes take place.
These events are climate change.
It's really a crossroads for humanity.
This is serious.
To heal the earth, we have to think of new ways.
Let's figure it out.
It's science, it's engineering, and it's conservation.
A new species.
Amazing.
The greatest opportunities are in chaos.
It is a breakthrough.
We're at a period of remaking the world.
Addressing global crisis.
We can change the earth.
We're doing this for the future. If we don't, what then?
You feel like everything's in some ways the same. You still wake up, you're still you, but there's a shift and you can't quite put your finger on it. It's really a crossroads moment for humanity. We all feel something is not working, and at the same time, we're grappling and looking for something else.
Innovation occurs at the intersection of things. The greatest opportunities are in chaos. In times of change, there's a maximum opportunity to change everything.
Tonight at 9 on WOUB.
It's the second most common cancer in U.S. women. About 240,000 cases of breast cancer in women were diagnosed in 2020 alone. While the CDC says mammograms are the best way to find the disease early, a new study reveals women are facing numerous barriers in getting this potentially life-saving screening. In today's Health Minute, Mandy Gaither has a look at the research and what experts say needs to happen to ensure health care for all.
It's an important weapon in the war against breast cancer. Mammograms can help detect signs of the disease earlier when it's more easily treated. But a new CDC study reveals many women still find it difficult to get this recommended screening.
Those of us who have been working in this space have known that these barriers exist. We've known this for years.
The U.S. Preventive Services Task Force recommends mammograms every 2 years for women ages 50 to 74, but researchers say only about 66% of women in that age group get a mammogram if they have 3 or more health-related social needs. Those can include food insecurity, feeling socially isolated, lack of reliable transportation, lost employment, or a reduction in hours. The cost of accessing health care was the biggest barrier.
Institutions need to be aware that they have to ask about these social determinants of health. And if you ask, then you can have a plan in place to address the needs.
Electra Paskett, director of the Center for Cancer Health Equity at Ohio State's Comprehensive Cancer Center, says healthcare providers need to do barrier assessments in order to identify things like financial issues that may stop people from getting mammograms and find solutions to address them.
I'm a 3-time breast cancer survivor. My first cancer was diagnosed 27 years ago on a mammogram. It was extremely small, the size of my pinky, top of my pinky, and I'm still here. So mammography works.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
The CDC says mammograms are available at no cost to the patient through most private health insurance plans and Medicare. Those who do not have insurance can access free or low-cost screening services through the CDC's National Breast and Cervical Cancer Early Detection Program.
Still ahead, tomorrow could be a special day for your furry friends. But first, here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your public television station.
The Maya built great cities.
Terraces, road systems, it's a perfect planned city.
And then abandoned them. Can new discoveries reveal why?
And then, bam, we have these huge deposits.
It is completely unique. There's nothing like it.
There's a history behind those artifacts, a culture we want to know better. The Maya are still here.
Ancient Maya Metropolis on Nova.
Tonight at 10 on WOUB.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's powerful.
On Finding Your Roots, Alanis Morissette.
My family would often say, can you just stay still for 1 minute?
And Sierra.
I have a greater appreciation for American history and my history.
An ancestor stunt.
Can you imagine taking a boat over those falls?
What?
And a family secret.
Your biological great-great-grandfather was white.
Oh, wow.
Tuesday at 8 on WOUB.
If you don't drive it, donate it and support something you use every day.
Good things come to those who wait. Maybe things are starting to look up.
This might take the edge off.
Yeah, I'm with you so far.
We might not have had much choice about our lives, but we can choose what sort of parents we're going to be.
The post office has taken all our money.
If you want something done properly, do it yourself.
People say at some point the excitement fades away, but with you it never has.
Sunday on WOUB.
Finally, tonight, a lot of us celebrate our pets every day, but doing so is especially important on Thursday because it's National Pet Day. Observed every year on April 11th, National Pet Day is dedicated to pets who may not be getting the attention and companionship they deserve. We're talking about orphaned pets, whether their owners have passed away or are ill. So take a moment and look for a chance to help out an orphaned pet this week. Oh, that is the best possible story we could have ended on today.
I know. Gosh, all those
love
dogs. Same. I've been wanting one forever.
You don't have a dog?
No.
Well, tomorrow sounds like the day to do it.
I know. If you had to get a dog, what kind would you get?
There's so many, but I really like German Shepherds. I really like German Shepherds.
Yeah,
so.
I have a little Shih Tzu. He's the cutest thing ever. He's probably watching right now. Love him so much. But if you go to the Athens Dog Shelter, they have a lot of opportunities here in Athens to get them out and play with them, especially for the students.
It has been, I know, a good leadership and volunteer service for us in Athens. It's so really nice to go out there and pet those dogs and walk those dogs. But looking at tomorrow, it's not looking like a good day to walk those dogs. 90% chance of showers for tonight, that overnight low, 57. But looking at tomorrow, not good dog walking weather with 100% chance of showers. That's going to be hitting the most tomorrow morning. Give us a little bit of a lull in that early afternoon, and then going to be giving us the most intense showers looking at tomorrow evening into afternoon. So we're going to be getting about an inch of rain throughout the day in Athens tomorrow. So stay weather aware. We're going to be having some pretty intense rain. Looking at those colors, that yellow, that's whenever we're going to have the most intensity, and that's looking at about this time tomorrow. Looking at tomorrow night, that is also whenever it's going to be the most intense. Looking at that red, that orange, that is just that most amount of rain that we can get, and it's going to be hitting us pretty hard. In company with those two kind of cold fronts, it's going to give us some intense winds. So we're looking at gusts up to 30 miles per hour on Friday. That is going to be giving us that chance of some tornadoes and some of that chance of some pretty intense rain in there. So stay weather aware. Looking at the rest of the week, other than Saturday, we're looking like those April showers are in full force, and we're looking at those first chances of some 80-degree weather next week. So it might be on that rainy side, but at least it'll be warm.
Well, that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. For Isabella Isco, I'm Donovan Barney.
And I'm Haley Sueno. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next, and you can find the latest news anytime at WOUB.org or follow us on social media. We hope you have a great night.